Welcome. My first video. So, I was lying there this morning and I thought to myself, do you know what? You need to start creating. It's time for me to share more of myself with the world. So basically, I have a chronic illness. Most of you won't know what that is. It's called myalgic encephalomyelitis, ME. Some call it ME/CFS. Don't really like the CFS, but we won't go into that. Anyway, bottom line is that I have been bedbound, or the progression is housebound for years now. And what's missing from me is like creative. I'm naturally a creative. So I've decided to start creating because this illness is 100% taken over my life and I don't feel like me anymore. So there's lots of things I'm going through to like heal, because chronic illness isn't easy. I'm a strong believer in healing and overcoming anything. It's just about creating the right conditions within the body. Does that make sense? So I'm not that person that's like, oh, woe me, this is it now, I'm going to spend the rest of my life like this. I don't feel like that. I feel like I have to work on healing my nervous system. So let me tell you, before I felt ill, I was like a personal trainer, you know, fitness instructor, used to teach classes, and I was like a health advisor. Busy helping people with their health and fitness, and then I felt ill. How did that happen? Because I completely forgot to address the fact that health is more than physical. You've got emotional health, you've got mental health, you've got spiritual health. Obviously, then you have physical health. So I neglected myself in all other areas. I was just focused on health. You know, I eat really well. I was like an alkaline vegan and heavy, like my work was fitness and health. I studied fitness and health. So it was all about the body, completely neglecting everything else. Anyway, we're not going into story time right now because this is my first video. I just said like, make it, Ash. Make it, because then you've started. And then obviously over time, your journey can be revealed. All of that. Obviously you have to forgive how I look. I'm chronically ill. I look mash up a lot. But anyway, do you get it? So that's what I'm going to be doing. But why I really want to make this video and just clear my thoughts, because I also feel like creating is going to help me with my own emotional and mental health. So it's not about, oh, how much people are watching and all of this. It's not about that. It's also me helping myself and helping others. Anyway, cut a long story short, I am seeing a lady at the moment, Sophie. Big up Sophie. I'm glad I met her. So initially it's supposed to be like CBT. Doesn't feel like CBT at all. And I've had CBT in the past and it's nothing like this. Nothing. Anyway, cut a long story short, me and Sophie are talking, like, you know, she's helping me look at things differently and helping me become more like mentally resilient. It's very hard on your mental health when you're chronically ill. It becomes like a loop. You're like, I'm physically ill in a way where it affects every area of my life. Like having carers, having a wheelchair, having to have people help me, not being able to do things for I've lost my independence basically, and that really messes with your psyche. But at the end of the day, when your physical health fails, it's like the last thing to fail. You would have been struggling mentally, emotionally, whether it's your immune system, your nervous system. Mental and emotional health impacts on the physical body. Anyway, so, you know, like me and Sophie are talking and this and that, and let me tell you the person I am, or I believe I am. Like, I'm not a person who walks with fear. I don't walk with fear. I'm not scared of people and situations. You know, like some people would be like, oh no, we can't walk down there. You know, it's a dangerous road, or we might get robbed, or we might get raped, or whatever it is. Do you get it? I don't walk with fear and worry in that kind of way that something's going to happen to me, even though plenty has happened to me in life. But I don't hold that kind of energy and walk with it. Anyway, so we were just talking about anxiety, because through my health failing, it has helped me pay attention and make it very clear of the work that needs to be done on myself. And I've come to realize I have all of this anxiety. Anxiety? Where did that come from? Well, I'm realizing it's always been there, but I've never recognized it, because what I'm realizing now is that I haven't been able to recognize my emotions. So I don't know how you lot was grown, but I'm Jamaican. I come from a Jamaican family, a massive family. How I was grown, emotions aren't really expressed. You're not taught to recognize your emotions. And then, like, I was clear. I knew anger, I knew happiness, I knew jealousy. Definitely no jealousy, definitely no anger, and no happiness. So as far as I'm concerned, those emotions are covered. Well, I'm not scared. I don't feel like, there's so many emotions. Like, even like recognizing if you feel like deserted or abandoned or fearful, all of these, like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about, kind of thing. I've come to realize that I have this range of emotions which I've never been able to identify or put words to. So when we're talking about this anxiety, Sophie's talking about, well, you do understand that at the very root, so we take from anxiety, we take it back to anger. Anger, we take it back to fear. She's saying at the root of all that you're talking about, the symptoms that you go through, all of this, at the root of that is fear. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't walk with fear. What do you mean fear? Fear of what? Exactly. That emotion I never thought about, because like I said, Mama, I'm not scared. But you're obviously scared. You're anxious about things, overthinking things, thinking of the many different 1,000,001 scenarios. What could happen, what's not gonna happen. Will it work out? Will it not work out? What will people think of me? What will they not think of me? All of this jazz stems from fear. What? So when I got up today, I was like, shit. Even the fact, all right, I'm making this video, and I probably want to create for a long time. And it's like, why aren't you doing that? Something's stopping you. What is it that's stopping you? And when you really will back the emotions and what it is that you're feeling, what your concerns are, what your worries are, what is coming up for you, is fear. So it's making me look at my life completely differently, because if you can recognize some of the steps that you don't take in life is from fear, you can address that problem. You can say, I feel the fear, but I'm going to do it anyway. What is the worst thing that can happen? Is what's going to happen really going to impact you in a negative way? Or is that a fear? And this is what I'm realizing. And this is exactly why I decided to make this video. It was never in my plan for this to be my first video on my channel at all. But the reason I've done it is to say, stop holding yourself back. And this is my message to all of us. Stop holding yourself back from fear. Recognize some of the emotions which come up on you, some of the sensations which, whether it's in your stomach, whether you start sweating, whether you start pacing. Like, I'm a pacer, I'm a neurodivergent. That's another thing. We'll get into that in the future, other videos, you get it. I'm a neurodivergent, and one of the things which I do is I pace. But I've been masking so much my whole life. I don't know what's me and what isn't. I don't know what's my ADHD and what isn't. I don't know if me is even me, or if I'm me because of what I tell myself I'm, rather than what it actually is. And that was a great example. Me going around going, oh, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of nothing. I'm not scared of no one, or do. It's an example. I'm telling myself that. But in practice, certain things are coming up in my body, certain sensations, certain, you know, I might be sweating, I might be pacing, I might not want to go out there, I might not want to have a conversation. All of this is built up anxiety, and at the root of everything, when you reel it all back, is fear. So my thing really is about us really